faithfully delivering value and interpreting great books from around the world.
Hello, this is Sally with Book Talks.
Today we're exploring a biography, A Woman Makes Up Her Mind, by Maye Musk, who is the mother of Tesla founder Elon Musk and also a nutrition expert and popular model. Elon Musk has publicly said multiple times, "My mother is my hero, and my success all comes from her upbringing and influence." May debuted on the modeling stage at 15, and at 22, she married in a daze. For the next 9 years, she struggled under the shadow of her husband's domestic violence until she divorced at 31, becoming a bankrupt single mom. She dodged her ex-husband's harassment while working as a nutritionist and model to support her family. However, she not only raised Elon and her other two children into billionaires, but also didn't neglect her own career at all. She earned 2 master's degrees, published a nutrition monograph, and successfully ran her own nutrition consulting clinic.
She returned to the runway at 50, appeared nude on the cover of Time magazine at 63, debuted at New York Fashion Week at 67, became a spokesperson for a famous cosmetics brand at 69, monopolized 4 billboards in Times Square, and became a regular on Harper's Bazaar covers. Her modeling career entered its golden age.
At 70, May said, "Don't slow down just because you're a woman or as you age."
Right now, I'm like a bullet out of the barrel, running wild, exploring everything, enjoying life to the fullest.
Busier than ever before. So how did May escape the abyss of domestic violence and overcome adversity? How did she manage to educate her 3 children into successful careers while not being limited by age, living more and more brilliantly? In 2019, 71-year-old May published her autobiography in the U.S. A Woman Makes Up Her Mind answers these questions without reservation. The book was later translated into over 20 languages and published worldwide. Next, let's interpret it from 4 aspects. First, what lifelong good habits did her family of origin give May? Second, why did May fall into a bad marriage?
And how did she get out of it?
Third, how did she independently raise her 3 children into successful careers? Fourth, after the children grew up, how did May, nearing 50, make her life take off? First, let's talk about what good habits her family of origin gave May throughout her life. In 1948, May and her twin sister were born in Canada. Her father, Joshua Haldeman, was a chiropractor, and her mother, Winifred, ran a dance school before marriage and later helped her husband manage the clinic. They raised 5 children together because their lifestyle was incredibly unique. And the May family was always called crazy by people. Her father, Joshua, loved exploring the world, and driving cars just wasn't enough for him. Over time, the family bought 2 propeller planes, and May's parents often flew around on trips. No GPS, no radio, their only navigation tool was a compass. This might seem reckless, but actually, adventurous yet cautious living was their family motto. They always made thorough plans before any trip. For example, before departure, they'd chart flight routes, check weather along the way, and solve issues like landing spots without airports. When setting off, they'd also bring tools to repair the planes. For long-distance flights, they'd even remove the back seats to place full tanks. Because they needed mid-air refueling when crossing oceans, May and her sister were just 3 months old when their parents took them flying. They flew to Iowa, USA, for a conference, and the local newspaper published photos of May and her sister, calling them the Flying Twins.
Oh!
This way, May's parents traveled to over 60 countries. Every time they landed in a new place, they'd spray the local name on the wing. When May was 2 years old, they had a trip that lasted 2 months. This trip was actually a family relocation across countries because May's father heard that South Africa had stunning scenery. So, the couple packed up their plane, car, and belongings to ship them, then boarded a cargo ship with their 4 young children. After arriving in South Africa, considering language preferences, the family originally planned to move to Johannesburg, which is mainly English-speaking. But when flying over Pretoria, the father was enchanted by the city's blooming orchid gardens, so they casually changed their settlement to Pretoria, which is mainly Afrikaans-speaking. Pretoria is the administrative capital of South Africa, renamed to Tshwane in 2005. After moving to South Africa, every July, the May family would go to the Kalahari Desert in southern Africa to search for the lost city, which was the father's wish. Sometimes they flew planes, sometimes drove trucks. Usually, a desert trip lasted 3 weeks. May's parents prepared enough food, water, and gasoline for 3 weeks, planned the itinerary in advance, and reported to the local camel patrol. May's barons, if they didn't reach the designated location within 3 weeks, the patrol would come looking for them. But no matter how meticulous the plan, things could still go wrong. Therefore, handling unexpected situations became particularly important. There were no roads in the desert, so the vehicles sometimes had to drive through bushes. To avoid sudden obstacles, the children took turns running ahead to check for pits or stumps. But once they inevitably hit a stump, father and older brother welded the damaged part with electrodes, then continued the journey.
Another night, 2 lions appeared at their campsite, and one wasn't even afraid of fire.
It walked toward the campfire. May's father took a rifle and torch to direct everyone, while they sent the youngest brother to sleep in the car. Then May's father fired shots to drive away the 2 lions. May said they never panicked over breakdowns. They just handled the problem and moved forward. The same applied to life. Don't fear unknown things. In fact, May's parents gave their children far more than that. May's mother made clothes for the children herself, and family meals were never extravagant nor wasteful. And with that, they encouraged independence in their children from early on. When May was 4, she and her twin sister Kay were led to kindergarten by their 7-year-old sister Lynn. After Lynn arrived at school, the 2 little ones had to walk over 200 meters alone to reach kindergarten. After school, May and Kay walked to Lynn's school, waiting for their older sister to finish class before heading home together.
From age 8, May and Kay handled printing, copying, and mailing the clinic's promotional brochures.
They mailed thousands of brochures monthly, with their father paying them 5 cents per hour. At 12, May and Kay worked as clinic receptionists, handling patient registration, making tea, and taking x-rays.
Back then, the May sisters were treated as fully trustworthy adults.
May's parents also taught the children to live diligently and elegantly. Before May's parents met, it was during Canada's Great Depression. Her father bartered chiropractic treatments for food, while her mother supported the family with minimum wage at a newspaper. After marrying, the father always located the clinic near home so May's mother could easily assist, allowing them to work while caring for family.
May's parents always spoke softly and moved gracefully.
Every year, May's father held a walking competition in the clinic's front yard, awarding winners best posture certificates. People always assumed May's elegant posture came from modeling training, but she saw it as a gift from her family. At 15, May and her sister got free classes at a modeling school. The school's founder was a friend of May's parents, who also gave her well-paid part-time modeling work. From then on, May began her modeling career. In 1966, 18-year-old May entered the University of Pretoria to study nutrition. Before adulthood, May received excellent family education and enjoyed smooth sailing in life. However, during university, life began showing her its cruel side. Next, let's explore Part 2, which challenges May faced in adulthood and how she escaped them. First, relationship troubles. At 16, May dated a boyfriend who excelled in math and science. He later became an engineer. At 20, during her 3rd year, May entered her first beauty pageant. During the competition, May found her boyfriend with another girl. She cried for a week, lost 10 pounds, and they broke up. Fortunately, in this beauty pageant, May won the championship, qualifying for the Miss South Africa finals. But just then, May faced academic pressures.
Due to school rules, to earn her nutrition degree, May had to prepare exams in Afrikaans, an official language but not her native tongue.
Physics and chemistry proved far harder than expected, causing her to overeat until she became 207 pounds. Naturally, she lost in the Miss South Africa finals. Fortunately, she successfully earned her degree. After graduation, May accepted a job offer from a Cape Town food company.
Cape Town was far from home. Suddenly, that cheating ex-boyfriend appeared to propose. May refused, but he went to Pretoria, lied to her father that May agreed, and made a marriage request.
This was the local marriage proposal custom. Back then, long-distance phone calls were prohibitively expensive, so people usually visited in person or sent telegrams.
Her family sent May a telegram telling her to return home to marry.
May was shocked, but with her changed physique and extreme lack of confidence,
The 22-year-old even thought no one else would want her, so she chose to go home and marry.
this marriage began a nightmare she'd never want to mention again. During their honeymoon, her husband hit her for the first time and confiscated her passport. After returning, while hesitating whether to tell her parents about the abuse, she discovered she was pregnant. The baby's arrival didn't change her marriage. Her husband kept abusing her during pregnancy, even forcing her to paint airplanes while in labor. Her husband scornfully told May, "Even with contractions, you don't need to slow down." In just 3 years and 3 weeks, May gave birth to 3 children consecutively. Finally, a sympathetic doctor fitted her with an IUD because her body needed recovery. Every night of married life meant only 3 things: raising kids and housework, being beaten and scolded without fighting back. Otherwise, she'd face worse beatings. Sometimes even silence was wrong. Her husband would say, "I know what you're thinking," followed by a beating. After May's father died, he banned her from contacting family for 2 years until her mother learned of the abuse when he publicly hit her. Now, May's mother warned her son-in-law to stop the violence. While physical abuse ended, verbal abuse intensified. This nightmarish marriage lasted 9 years. May feared divorce because he threatened the children's safety, and South African laws didn't protect women. Locals even considered wife-beating normal. In 1979, when South Africa passed the Irretrievable Breakdown of Marriage Act, May saw hope and filed for divorce immediately. And though her husband was wealthy, she wanted only custody of their 3 children. He returned only her original apartment. This apartment was in Durban, hundreds of kilometers away, with ongoing mortgage payments. During divorce proceedings, fearing family repercussions, she moved there instead of her mother's home. Terrifying things did happen. One day, May's husband suddenly appeared on the streets of Durban, chasing her with a knife. Then she applied to the police and got a restraining order. He could no longer come near her. After the divorce, May's ex-husband fought a 10-year custody battle, exhausting all her savings. Maye said her ex-husband did it intentionally, just to make her spend money.
Moreover, when her ex-husband picked up the kids for weekend visits, he always intentionally lost their clothes, forcing May to buy new ones.
No matter how her ex-husband harassed her or how difficult life was, May firmly and resolutely escaped from that person. Looking back on this period of life, May still believes she escaped too late. In her view, when you realize the situation is dangerous and hopeless, you should escape as soon as possible. At 31, May started a new life with her 3 children, penniless. Next, let's look at part 3, how May independently raised her 3 children to be successful, becoming a hardcore woman who balanced parenting and career. She converted a bedroom in her Durban apartment into a nutrition consulting studio while working part-time as a model. To save money, May didn't buy clothes, only went to thrift stores when necessary. The children only wore school uniforms, and May didn't feel guilty about working full-time. He said his mother did the same, working while caring for their 5 children. May believed that, rather than complaining about giving up work,
it's better to show children her optimistic attitude.
Modeling required dyeing her hair. Without money for salons, she did it herself.
Maye created time-saving plans, like when doing nutrition consultations at home, she asked neighbors to help with school drop-offs and pickups. When she had fashion shows, she hired a temporary babysitter. Sometimes she brought the kids to fashion shows, letting them sit in the front row, reading books. Later, after a heartbreak, Maye gained weight rapidly again, so she moved to Bloemfontein, the judicial capital of South Africa. Maye ran a modeling school while pursuing a Master of Science degree. And soon luck struck again. When Maye went to a top modeling agency in Johannesburg, northeastern South Africa, to recommend her students, they instead offered her an olive branch, inviting her to be a plus-size model. Because plus-size modeling was a new industry demand, and Maye, who hadn't fully slimmed down yet, had modeling experience, she accepted the job and became South Africa's only plus-size model at the time. After that, Maye moved to Johannesburg with her newly earned master's degree, since Johannesburg was much closer to her mother. Now, in 1988, Maye turned 40. Her career in Johannesburg was flourishing. She had a beautiful house, and her daughter Tosca had her own bedroom with a wardrobe covering an entire wall. End.
At this point, her eldest son, Elon, believed North America was better for academic development and suggested Maye restore her Canadian citizenship.
This way, he could more conveniently pursue studies in Canada. Tosca, who was in middle school, was also very interested in Canada, so at 41, Maye applied and restored her Canadian citizenship, then abandoned her stable, comfortable life in South Africa, and moving to Canada. Because her funds in South Africa were frozen, Maye, who had just arrived in Toronto, could only rent a small apartment. She and Tosca shared a bedroom, Elon slept in the living room, and her second son, Kimball, stayed temporarily in South Africa to finish high school. To cover living expenses in Canada, besides working as a researcher at the University of Toronto and part-time modeling, Maye was also eager to start her nutrition consulting work. But to practice in Canada, she had to pass the Canadian nutritionist exam. She passed it all in one go. Unlike South Africa, where nutrition was emphasized, Canadian doctors weren't enthusiastic about referring patients to nutritionists. Here, Maye proactively pursued opportunities. After writing numerous letters to Toronto doctors proved ineffective, she called each doctor's office, but most rejected her. Maye set a goal to call and secure meetings with 20 doctors, just the first step, and often had to wait outside for an hour just to meet one. But Maye believed it was all worth it. 6 months later, her nutrition clinic's daily appointments were booked from 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Her modeling work was also very tough. For one shoot, the destination was about a 40-minute drive away. Without a car, Maye stuffed her clothes and shoes into a large bag, took 2 buses, 2 subways, and transferred to 2 more buses. Finally, she walked to the studio in nearly 1-meter deep snow, a journey that took 2 hours. Examples like this of studying hard, bravely striving, and working tirelessly. In the book, Maye also says she does seem like a lucky person, but don't forget that your luck can only be created through your own efforts. Maye's children also appear very fortunate. The eldest created Tesla and SpaceX, the second started a green restaurant, and the third runs a film company, all becoming billionaires. And Maye's secret to raising children is actually free-range parenting. She doesn't check their homework, and all school application forms are completed by the children themselves. The children even helped Maye in return. At 8 years old, Tosca helped with Maye's modeling school by arranging programs, setting up etiquette courses, and assisting her mother with makeup and printing letters. Kimball started cooking for the family at 12. Elon helped Maye with electronic devices. But when the children pursued hobbies, she fully supported and encouraged them. At 12, Elon wrote a computer game. and May encouraged him to submit it to a computer magazine. Soon after, Elon received a payment equivalent to about $500 at the time. That was in 1983. That payment could be considered very substantial.
Later, Elon decided to drop out of Stanford University just 2 days into his PhD to start a business. Almost everyone opposed it. Only May showed support.
Although Kimball has treated cooking as a joy since age 12, he has changed careers multiple times. Kimball studied business, worked in internet companies, learned culinary arts, and now runs a green restaurant. He told May that no matter what career he chooses, he feels his mother always supports him, while Tosca pursued her passion very directly. She loved performing since childhood and took over the drama club from her drama teacher at 12. And because May worked at the University of Toronto, her children could have studied medicine or law there for free, but all three chose to be self-reliant.
Elon chose physics and business.
Kimball studied business, and Tosca studied film. The children independently completed applications for university scholarships and student loans. In 1994, when the third child also went to college, May couldn't believe she had gained freedom. And at this time, her solid nutrition consulting career also reached a peak moment. When she gave a speech at the Canadian Dietetic Association, she received a book publishing offer. This year, May was 46 years old, full of confidence in her career, her children's education, and her book. May also felt it was time to buy her own house in Toronto. She found a 2-story cottage with a down payment of just $10,000, matching her monthly savings. And May, she said, on B. But loan rejection due to low income over 5 years ironically freed up funds to support her children's startup. During this period, Kimball had moved from Toronto to Silicon Valley, co-founding their first tech company with Elon.
Zip2 provided online maps and nearby business listings, essentially America's earliest Yelp. May saw it as a revolutionary idea to improve lives.
Thus, she fully backed their venture, covering massive startup costs with her credit card. Money vanished quickly. They needed more cash.
May then gave her entire $10,000 house savings to the children.
Over months, Elon and Kimball pitched countless venture capital until 1996, when Zip2 secured a $3 million investment. Overjoyed, they celebrated at a fine restaurant. When paying, May cheerfully declared, "This is the last time you'll see my credit card." Yes, she was utterly thrilled. Her children's entrepreneurial success meant she no longer needed to fund them. Hearing this, we understand May's free-range approach wasn't neglect, but guiding and protecting while letting interests flourish. No wonder Elon Musk later said, "The highest form of motherhood is giving children freedom."
Now let's explore part 4. How May's life took off spectacularly.
In 1996, 48-year-old May sold her Toronto clinic and moved to the U.S., naturally retaking nutritionist licensing exams. She studied through sciatica pain, sometimes learning while lying down. Luckily, May passed all exams. Her U.S. start mirrored her Canadian beginnings, almost rebuilding from scratch. The difference? She no longer needed to care for children. In the U.S., May moved multiple times. Mountain View, San Francisco, New York, Los Angeles. The San Francisco move was devastating. Rebuilding her clinic took too long, draining her funds. But she insisted on not taking her son's financial help and moved to a cheaper place. Fortunately, not long after, in February 1999, Compaq acquired Zip2 for $300 million, with Elon profiting $22 million and Kimball $15 million. The first thing the two sons did after becoming wealthy was to bring their mom to San Francisco to see houses and cars they wanted to buy. But at that time, May didn't want to live in San Francisco. She wanted to go to New York. Because once when she gave a lecture in New York, she was drawn to New Yorkers' fast pace, quick talk, sharp minds, and can-do attitude. May felt these people were her kind. From age 31 to 51, Although May had career achievements, her top duty was caring for her children, and even after they grew up, she supported their ventures with money and effort. As an independent woman, May truly found herself starting in New York. At 51, she signed with a new modeling agency there, but it wasn't smooth sailing. The agency rarely gave her work, declining offers by claiming she had no time. At 59, May stopped dyeing her hair and let it turn white. 6 months later, things took a turn. A person handling a job offer lived in May's neighborhood and saw her walking leisurely daily, so the agency could no longer refuse by saying she had no time. They had to accept the job. This job was to appear fully nude on the cover of Time magazine's Health edition. May struggled inside. She'd said no to nude shoots for 50 years. Could she feel safe trying now? She called to ask her children's opinion, and Kimball said, "Mom, it's Time magazine. It won't be a problem." The success of the Time cover brought May an offer from New York Magazine, where she posed nude again as a pregnant woman to advocate for older mothers. Of course, May wasn't actually pregnant. In post-production, they photoshopped a real pregnant woman's belly onto May. Just like that, jobs flooded in. Airline ads, modeling endorsements, cosmetic brands, walking in New York Fashion Week, etc.
At 67, May's photos appeared in New York's Times Square subway and every airport in the U.S.
May didn't expect her white hair to become so popular. Because at 15, someone told her modeling would end at 18, yet May reached her career peak at 71.
May thoroughly enjoys life after 70. Her secret: seniors can be fashionable and beautiful while earning respect.
May loves her dual professional identities as a fashion model and health nutritionist. In both fashion and health, she offers very practical advice in her book. For fashion, she advises, if you want to be stylish but find it complex, find a stylish friend to shop with you. Start with basics, then add trendy pieces for special occasions. May did this. Her stylist, Julia Perry, was that friend. At their first meeting, Julia cleared May's closet, saying she needed a suit, 2 shirts, shoes, and a bag. May said she couldn't afford it. Indeed, her South African funds were frozen, and Toronto expenses overwhelmed her. So Julia created a phased shopping plan. When May's income grew, Julia upgraded her wardrobe. This taught May that quality far outweighs quantity.
Apart from weight fluctuations, May maintains strong self-control as a nutritionist.
Her secret: plan meals, choose healthy foods, eat small, frequent portions, and keep healthy snacks handy to resist junk food. When May turned 70, her children gave speeches praising her cooking. Before adulthood, she fed them high-fiber cereal, milk, fruits, veggies, peanut butter sandwiches, and bean soup. It sounds simple, but May still eats this way today. Healthy food isn't expensive and doesn't need complex cooking. In her book, May thoughtfully details her daily food intake. Interested listeners can explore it. May isn't perfect. She shares our weaknesses, sometimes binging when distressed or losing confidence. But May is a fortunate woman. She inherited good habits from her family, listens to friends' advice, trusts her expertise, and no matter the challenge, she always reclaims control of her life. What's truly remarkable is that she never limited herself or her children. She lived wholeheartedly, and an extraordinary life followed naturally. As the New York Post described, she became a beacon of light herself. All right, that concludes our interpretation of A Woman Makes Up Her Mind. Reading notes are below the audio. See you next time.